thank you guys so much for coming out tonight to check out the film that we worked really hard on. It's a very special screening for me. I went to school at Sacramento State, and I lived in Sacramento for about 4 years of my life. Some very, very special people here in the audience right now. Some people that I shared a home with for a long time. Some of my roommates and football teammates. Some professors that had a really profound impact on my life, my career as a filmmaker. First time I learned how to touch a camera was at Sac State. First time I learned how to use the Avid editing software was at Sac State. Learned how to write screenplays there and talk to actors and watch films under the tutelage of Dr. Pomo and made films under the tutelage of Professor Stephen Bush. So it means the world to be here and to share the film with those people that have such a special place in my heart, and in the city that has such a special place in my heart. So I really want to say thanks to you guys for giving me the greatest gift, and that's just the presence to watch the film right now. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit afterwards. Looking forward to it. Thank you guys.
I would like to welcome you back to your alma mater. So glad that you're here. And congratulations on the many awards that this film has garnished, and more specifically being the winner of the Grand Jury Prize for Dramatic Feature, and also the Audience Award for U.S. Dramatic Film at the 2013 Sundance Film Festival. And congratulations for the rave reviews and critical analyses that have been given to this film. So once again, a round of applause. Quite a few articles written in the last few months about the film, and I know that some of these questions you have answered over and over again, but if you don't mind sharing a few aspects about the filming of this gorgeous film. How long was the process for writing the script, rehearsing the script, and then the shooting schedule?
Thanks, Dr. Pomo, for all your kind words, and thank you guys for staying and watching the film. Writing the script, we started off initially when once Forrest Whitaker's production company gave me the green light to go with the film. I had a friend who was a lawyer on the case who I had met at USC, and I had him point me in the direction of all the public documents that were available about the case. So I started writing the script from there, and I would say that was around April, May of 2011. When I first, got the outline, first started going, and I turned the script into the Sundance Labs that November of that year. So I ended up graduating from film school, moving back to the Bay Area, working at Juvenile Hall, and I would write when I got off work. I ended up finishing up a draft of the script sometime around November 2011, turned it into the Sundance Labs, and went to the Sundance Labs in January 2012, came out and worked on the script a little bit more after that, and at that point we started the cast about January 2012. So I worked on it for about half a year. And then you said rehearsing.
How long was the rehearsal process?
We didn't have very much rehearsal time. We did get support from a nonprofit organization called the San Francisco Film Society, who they do a program called Off the Page. And in that program, they fly out some actors that you might have, put them up in the Bay Area, and let you get the script on his feet. For us, we used Michael B. Jordan, who played Oscar, and Melanie Diaz, who played the role of Sophina. And it really helped because both those two are New Yorkers. And they don't really, the Bay Area slang and Bay Area way of life is much different from New York. So it really helped to get them acclimated to the Bay. And we also got to spend some time with each other, build a chemistry with each other. And most importantly, I was able to take them to go meet with the real Sophina, meet with the real Tatiana, and spend time with some of Oscar's friends and family in preparation for the role. But we didn't have a whole lot of rehearsal time, to be honest. Octavia came into town a few days before it was time to shoot. And for Mike and Melanie, we just had maybe a week before.
Were there any major changes from the time that you wrote the script to once you arrived at the shooting process? Any changes from the script to the actual shooting experience?
There were some changes. We lost a lot of things. The script was really long. We didn't have a lot of time nor a lot of money. So oftentimes we would get into situations where, as opposed to 30 extras, I'm gonna have to rewrite it so that's 5. As opposed to several cars being in the street, we had to rewrite it to a way that it was more affordable. And oftentimes I had to really lean down scenes so that we really got to the heart of what was there, so that we can afford to produce it and afford to shoot it. And also I gave a lot of actors a little bit of freedom in their performances. Oftentimes they might take it in a different direction, or we might agree to maybe surprise the other actor, and what we get out of that would be something great, and we would keep that in the editing process. But for the most part, the major beats are what was in the script.
Since you mentioned the acting, and the acting is outstanding all the way through, your incredible knack for directing children. I saw that in Fig, the short film that you made while you were at USC, and now this wonderful work that this young actor has done. Tell us about, how do you work as a director in terms of directing children, particularly in getting this beautiful performance out of her?
The number one step, thanks for your kind words. Her name is Ariana Neal. She's an incredible actress from Atlanta. And I think the number one step, whenever you directing something, and I kind of learned this actually from football. A college coach once said, 95% of coaching college football is recruiting. If you're able to get talented players, a lot of your work is done for yourself. If the same thing goes for directing, when you cast the right actors, you find talented actors that are generally great people, to spend time with, to be around. A lot of your work is done for yourself, and that goes for casting children even more so. I've been fortunate enough to work with some really special child actors that are just great people to begin with, and really act because they enjoy it. Their parents aren't pushing them into it, and they're really creative. Ariana was incredibly creative and incredibly she was having fun at all times, through every scene. And if she wasn't having fun, we'll let her take a break and go somewhere else. But she was always enjoying herself. She had incredible parents that were very supportive, but weren't pushing her around at all. Yeah, and for me, I love kids. I got a family full of kids, and I much rather hang out with kids than adults. So I always, I'm always happy when I'm able to do that through work.
Let's move from the casting a bit to the actual aesthetics of the film. And as I viewed the film, this is the second time that I had the pleasure of viewing your film, and we were talking about this earlier, the handheld camera, almost like cinema verite or even neo-realistic style. So as you crafted the film on paper, did you have the idea already of having a lot of handheld work, a lot of cinema verite approaches to it? If you can talk to us about your directorial vision, that would be wonderful.
Absolutely. In making the film, I really wanted to, through the minds on scene, give the audience a feeling of being right there in the moment. I really was interested in bringing the audience into this guy's life, and for the camera work to make it feel like the events were unfolding right in front of me. One of my fondest memories as a child was days when my dad would pick me up from school in between the hours of 3 o'clock when I got out of school until very late at night. I'll just ride around with my dad, and he'll just be running errands. He'll go to the grocery store, maybe he'll go check in on my mom at work and bother her until she got off at 6 or whatever, and he'll go run off and go somewhere else. And I remember feeling very, very close to my dad, and I remember being close to him in the quiet moments, in the moments when he was just kind of riding around, and I was kind of a fly on the wall, watching this guy's life. And I found it to be a very intimate thing to spend every waking hour with someone. To go to sleep with someone, wake up in the morning with them, and spend an entire day with them to the end of the night. And I wanted to give the audiences that feeling, and through the camera work, I wanted to feel like it was really happening, like it was real. And oftentimes we would sit back in scenes, let them unfold as if you were sitting in the corner and watching the family. So the handheld choice, and another choice that we made was to shoot on Super 16. Was because I wanted to feel visceral. I associated Super 16 footage with reality. Watching old documentaries, seeing that film grain. And another reason we really wanted to shoot film was because Oscar was killed on digital. He was killed on these inexpensive digital cameras. You couldn't really make out what was going on, and there was a coldness to that footage. I wanted to really bring a warmth back to how we brought him back to life, or organic quality that we could find through that Super 16. And we were handheld for most of the film. We had an incredible female cinematographer named Rachel Morrison, who also operated herself and could get very intimate, get right in there with the actors, what they were going through, what they were going through. And the only scene that we did shoot on tripod, on a Steadicam, was the prison scene, because that was a point in Oscar's life where he was stuck, at the lowest point. So that was how we approached it.
Thank you. A pivotal part of the film, of course, is the location, right? And so can you tell us about how you were able to manage approval from the BART officials to film, and also the time elements, because I think you rehearsed from about 1 in the morning until about 5 in the morning. So tell us about how that choice of locale evolved.
Oh yeah, let me ask you another question that you asked. Our shooting schedule was 20 days. We had a 20-day shoot. If for us in this film, a big thing was that Oscar was a product of his environment. Oscar was somebody who was born in the Bay Area, lived there, and never left. We really wanted to capture the real locations that he moved through, these real places that had an effect on him on this day. And one of the most important places was the BART facility, both the stations and the trains themselves. And we were writing the film. I figured that BART would never let us use their facilities. But eventually I was like, maybe we should go ask them, at least talk to them. I thought it was a crazy idea. But we went in to meet with them, and what we found out was that Oh yeah. Oh, cool. So we went in the BART, and I basically explained to him, like, for me the movie isn't about what happens on the platform. For me the movie is about this guy and his life. He's on the platform for a few minutes out of his day. BART has a new general manager now. They have a new chief of police, and they were very interested in extending the olive branch to the community. They didn't want to roadblock this film, especially when they found out that we were approaching it from my aspect of love as opposed to inspiring hatred. So eventually they agreed to allow us to film. I think a lot of it had to do with me being from the Bay Area, with Forrest Baker being a producer on the project. And Forrest has a lot of experience with conflict resolution. He works for the UN, both domestically and abroad. So they became very open to allow us to use their facilities to tell the story. I think they saw me as something that could bring healing to the community. I was extremely grateful for it, but we shot we shot in a lot of real locations. Every institutional location on this day had a negative effect on Oscar, and it was really important to me to get into those real places. So even in this flashbacks, we shot in San Quentin. That was the real prison with real inmates, real guards. We shot in Farmer Joe's, where Oscar actually worked and moved and breathed. We shot at Highland Hospital, which was the hospital that he was taken into. They tried to save him, and couldn't. We shot in the actual BART station. We're laying right there on the same spot. But the repercussions we use in real places like that, comes with the fact that these places they don't care about filmmaking really. Like BART's not going to stop their trains. They're not going to stop taking people to and from work for our movie. San Quentin's not going to give us a lot of time. They got a prison to run. So with BART, we could only shoot in the hours that the trains weren't running, which ended up being 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. And a normal movie shoot day is 12 hours. And we were working before. On these days we had moving trains, hundreds of extras, firearms, stunts, huge emotional beats for the actors to go through. But what we did was we kind of approached it with a football mindset. We would get there early and rehearse in a school across the street. We would block out the trains and the different positions for everybody. We would do a walkthrough so that we would know our stunt stunts, doing moves for the actors, and we talk it over. We would eat, you know, I would go somewhere and like usually puke because I was so nervous. and then we would walk over at about 1 in the morning when the train would come in. Everybody on the set would hold hands in a circle for a moment of silence because of what had happened there. And that was everybody from the cast to the crew to the people that work for BART, you know, to everyone. And then when 1 o'clock would hit, that train would come in and we'll get we only have one camera, you know, one camera shoot. Yeah. And,
how long did it take you to block that crucial, horrific scene? It begins with the documentary image through the cell phone. How long did it take you to block that whole sequence? And can you talk to us about what it felt like blocking that whole shooting sequence?
What I would try to do, I would try to like block the emotions out of my mind as best I could when it came to that physical movements and those things. And what we would do is when we got to school and it was still daylight, you know, I would really try to get all of the movements in all the actors' heads. You know, we had incredibly smart actors, even our extras. You know, everybody knew how important what we were doing was. And what we would do is really get all the movements, all the physicality squared away before we got into that space. Once we were there, I mean, in the blocking of it was fairly clear because it was so much footage. You know, it was in many ways the movements was almost easier than blocking the normal scene. You know, I had more difficulty blocking the scene with Oscar and Sophia in the bedroom. You know, because of the movements and the emotional things. There was no footage to go off of. I mean, with this, we knew when the cops came in, we knew where Oscar was, where his friends were. Yeah, we had a template. So that actually helped. I mean, nothing can really prepare you for nothing can really prepare you for the emotion that Mike has to go through, that his friends have to go through. It was a horrific thing to have to do and have to see, you know, every time.
Were you involved in the editing process every step of the way?
Absolutely. You know, the first, I have 2 incredible editors. One named Michael Shaver from Rhode Island. He's a white guy, about 29 years old. And I have a Latina woman from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, named Claudia Costello. Claudia's in her 30s, and Mike and Claudia work hand in hand when they work with me. And they both moved up to the Bay Area. They moved in a house in East Oakland. I was right there close to the neighborhood, and they lived in a house. You know, Mike slept in the closet, and Claudia slept in the bedroom, and I set my office up in the kitchen. And we worked right there in the living room. One in the living room, one at the other. We had one television in between. And for the first, we wrapped the film on the first, like August 1st, and they came up to the Bay, and I gave them about 2 weeks to 2.5, 3 weeks to get an editor's cut together first. And we would talk, you know, they would come meet with me, we would talk, and I would give them certain types of direction, and they would go for it. And then once they had their editor's cut done, they called me in, I watched that, I gave them notes, gave them about 5 days to implement the notes that I give them. I watched the cut after that, and then after that I moved in with them, and I was there all the time, working right there with them hand in hand, and we were like a happy family. Sometimes they would fight like a married couple, you know. None of us were sleeping, so it got intense. But because of the emotional heft of everything we were working on, oftentimes we would just pull up YouTube videos, like the funniest YouTube videos we can find. We watch Gangnam Style all the time. All kinds. I can tell you like every funny YouTube clip in the world. At the back of my hand now after doing this.
The sound design and the music, can you share with us the design concept for that?
Absolutely, man. Professor Bus, where are you, man? Are you in here? Dr. Pomo and Professor Bus are two of the biggest reasons why I'm standing in front of you guys right now. Dr. Pomo, more than anything, showed me how to watch movies. And Lord knows I watch a lot of them. I spend tons of money actually here in this theater watching too many movies. And Professor Bus taught me the crafts of how to make them. One of the things that he taught me first was how to use Pro Tools and how to use sound design. So I went to USC, which has a huge history of some of the most incredible sound designers in the world. You know, Ben Burke comes and teaches there, Tom Holman, who made THX, George Lucas, who's incredibly passionate about sound design. They all came out of there. So sound has been a super important thing to me. Our composer, I met at USC, and we worked together constantly. Whenever I go to LA, I sleep on his couch. So we're real close friends. And for me, it was very important to capture what the Bay Area sounds like. And it's interesting because Oscar's from the East Bay Area, and BART trains, when you're in Frisco, the trains are underneath the ground, so you never hear them unless you're in the station. But once they come out of the water, out of the Trans-Bay tube in the East Bay, they're in the air, and they're constantly above you. So hearing a BART train is something that you always hear in the Bay Area, almost to the point that you don't even notice it anymore. So that sound was very important. And I always wanted Oscar, any music in the film, to come out of the sound design in the area. So whenever it comes in, it's never coming in harsh. So for instance, the score that's in the grocery store where Oscar starts to lose his temper, it comes out of the industrial sound of the lights. And the movie took the sound of those lights that hum in the grocery store, and that's where the sound came from. And we really worked hard to make sure that the quiet moments, were quiet. And at the moments where music would come in and accentuate, always felt natural, always felt normal. We didn't ever want to push or prod the audience. And one of the great things that Ludwig did was I actually sent him the script while we were shooting, before he had any footage, before he had anything, and he wrote 2 cues. One cue for how he felt when he read the BART station scene, and then one cue for how he felt about Oscar and Tatiana's relationship. And the cue that he wrote, just off reading the script for Oscar and Tatiana, was the cue that we ended up using for the film. So he's an extremely talented composer.
Mr. Coogler, we can stay here for an hour or so and continue to talk about your work, but it's time that we wrap it up. So we would like to once again congratulate you for this wonderful piece of work, and we're looking forward to seeing more of your films in the future.